Hello everyone. So how are you all? I hope you all have been doing well today. So today I'm gonna read the story based on Vikings, and I think I've already uploaded a video where I discussed about only one page. I think I've read one page of that book already, and I explained it. So now today we are gonna get dive into it, and there would be a next page and all you need to do is just listen. um, I think I won't explain about the story. I want you to listen it. That would enhance your listening ability. And why is it important? Because whenever you consume any English content or movie, web series, then your listening ability works well. If you have if you are used to listen English content, then your listening ability improves each and every day. So I want you to just listen these tests that I'm going to read. So let's start. Causes of the Vikings movement. Now we are going to discuss about the causes of the Vikings movement. So that this excess of population was due to polygamy. We have every reason to doubt it. Polygamy does not lead to an over rapid growth of population as a whole, and it is fairly certain that it was practiced only by the ruling classes in Scandinavian. Scandinavian is a province where the over rapid growth of the population leading by the polygamy. Polygamy does not lead them. It is quite possible, however, that the large number of sons in the ruling families made it necessary for the younger ones to go forth and gain for themselves fresh territories in new land. What a line is that! Take an example. A emperor have many have already married with multiple women. It means a emperor have a vast family, and his family is constantly the emperor expanding his family. The eldest son would be the right heir who can sit on the throne after his father, but the younger ones, what they would do, they have to forth and gain for themselves fresh territories they can rule in new lands. And at the ancient time, 7th century, how they'd been doing those things, how they were finding new lands using the boats and vessels made by wooden pieces. So all they had to do is they just embarked on a journey, younger ones, to find a new land where they can rule and make him their territories. From there, they embark on a journey for the quest of finding a new land or a island. Yeah, let's move further in that story. A clearer light is perhaps thrown on the matter if we examine the political condition of the Scandinavian countries at this time. In Norway, we find that the concentration of kingly authority in the hands of Harald Fairhair after the middle of the 19th century. led many of the more independent spirits to leave Norway and adopt a Viking life in the West, or to settle in new homes in Iceland. What's the meaning of this paragraph? The king of Norway in the 19th century was Harald Fairer, fair hair. So, under his reign, there were more independent spirits who decided to leave the Norway. So, multiple reasons behind it, and become a Viking to find new lands and plunder the villages, settle in new homes in Iceland. So strong was the spirit of independence that when Harald Fairer received the submission of the Vikings of the West after the Battle of Hafrsfjord, many of them, rather than endure even a shadowy overlordship, abandoned their Viking life and settled down to peacefully independence in Iceland. So he fought a war and got a submission from the Vikings. And some of them abandoned their Viking life and settled down peacefully independence in Iceland, where they were just hunting to the animals, feeding their families, and living a peaceful life. What a story is that! I loved it. But sometimes I was ignoring it to read, but I think the story take us in the ancient era, the 17th century, and this book tells us about how was the life of the people at this century, because they were the ancestors, they were our ancestors, okay. And the Homo sapiens who was born, who had been swirling and roaming on this earth about 200 millennia years ago. I don't have exact number, but I think so. Let's move without distracting from the topic. So Vikings and settled down to peaceful independence in Iceland. It is quite possible that earlier attempts at consolidation on the part of the previous petty Norwegian kings may have had similar results. Of the condition of Sweden, we know practically nothing, but we have sufficient information about the course of events in Denmark at this time to see that it probably tended to hasten the development of the Viking movement. His tendency was about to hasten the development of the Vikings movement. Throughout the first half of the 9th century, there were repeated dynastic struggles accompanied probably by the exile, voluntary or forced, or many members of the rival factions. Throughout the first half of the 19th century, there were repeated dynamic struggles accompanied probably by the exile, voluntary or forced. Exile, it means to evict someone from the nation, okay. uh, to throw out someone from the nation, okay. So exile and voluntary or forced of many members of the rival factions. External causes also were certainly not without influence. External causes, yeah, I think you all know about the term external causes, also were certainly not without influence. From the 16th century down to middle of the 18th, the Frisians were the great naval and trading power of the northwest Europe. They had been ruling over the sea and trading. So I think that's enough for today. Now I'm gonna explain you about the Vikings in the next episode. We'll cover next page of that story, and I think my motive behind reading a book, if you want to know the name of that book, so you could ask me in the comment section. I would leave the name and with the author. And behind reading books and stories, my motto is give you a good listening content that will definitely, you can note it down my words, okay, if you don't trust on me, that will definitely help you to enhance your listening ability in English. Nowadays, if you watch Hollywood movies in English and you don't understand it, you don't able to understand the words, the language, without using subtitle, it means you have a lot to do with to enhancing your listening ability, and that's what I'm talking about, because I have already passed through that way. I had been experiencing those kind of troubles in understanding the native people or watching movies in English. And I also used that way to enhance my listening ability. And I still have been listening podcast to enhance my listening ability as well as to understand the meaning of a sentence, what the speaker is wanna implying or conveying in his sentence. So that was all about today. If you haven't subscribed my channel, please do that, because I really working for giving you a good amount of content that would definitely help you to enhance your English ability. And I'm striving to reaching out as many as people I can. So please do consider it, and thank you very much for listening me. If you have any comments, queries, please let me know in the comment section. Leave a comment. I would definitely watch out. Thank you very much.